The Night Monster on Blu-ray. This is day 21 of 31 in my 31 days of horror. This thing is from 1942 and is 72 minutes long, so a little bit on the longer side for these movies. So another horrible monster gets destroyed and another young couple gets together. Everything normal here. So when the credits said Bela Lugosi and Lionel Atwill, I got really excited and I was like, yes, any movie those two guys are in are great. But like they both totally have like tiny minor parts that do not matter to the story at all. So right from the opening part of this movie, you can see that it's the exact same set as the castle on Horror Island. So it's kind of fun to see the same set being used over and over for all these different stories. And honestly, it almost like breaks the like fantasy aspect of it, because you're just like, oh, it's that same place and it's another story. So it almost just lets you know that it is a movie, but it's like who can be more creative in this space, and it's fun to see how they use it differently. So one of the running creepy things in this movie is that they're constantly cleaning up like blood spots, and that the staff of this house like are questioning their sanity, or not, like the sister of one of the main guys and also some of the staff. Like it's like, are people insane? Like, what are these blood drips going around? So there's kind of like a nice creepy buildup going on. So this guy in the movie, I mean, I'm using this word a lot lately, but he's a total creep. Like he actually he just pulled over into like a dark, secluded place, and he's pretty much attempts to assault or successfully assaults off screen women in this movie. Like that's like his role in this thing. And this lady, she has probably the best movie insult ever. Listen to this.
No.
How is it dames always know what's on a guy's mind before he knows himself?
You read the confession magazine.
Now, wait a minute. There's nothing really wrong with me.
Nothing a good case of rigor mortis would cure.
She's basically telling him to go die. That's an amazing insult. That's pure gold there. I love that. I challenge you to use that in your real life. So this lady just quit her job. She just quit her job at being like a house person at this house, and she went back to get her stuff, and she had a ride, and the butler, or one of the groundspeople, basically tells her that he goes and tells the driver that she doesn't need a ride anymore. So the driver leaves, and now she's stuck in a scary, foggy night. And so you're like, is this groundskeeper trying to get this girl off? And anytime there's like a night monster kill, they do something really, really cool with the sound. So the movie's playing and the sound just stopped. So now you just have her footsteps. And of course, the black and white and the fog and the forest and the lack of sound, it just creates the perfect Halloween mood. And of course, she's going to get it. And I'm not going to play that part because I got two little girls in here. Okay, a couple quick notes on the Blu-ray. The sound is crackly. Like you can hear everything fine, but there's quite a few like loud crackles in it. And then there's a ton of scratches in it. So it is nice in HD, but it is pretty fuzzy with a lot of print damage visible. And so it's definitely not from a new scan. But this part that's about to happen is one of the weirdest, strangest things I've seen in any of these movies. And check it out. A lot of this movie is about like the power of the mind. And this guy talks about how you can transport things with your mind. Look at this. He brings a skeleton in that's holding something. And it's like its hands are dripping blood. And it's just like, what in the world?
Then I'll arrange with Rolf to spend the night. Who says the age of chivalry is dead?
Oh, no, that won't be necessary. The psychiatrist calling for help because she's afraid of the dark is a little silly, isn't it?
You know, I think I like the idea of your being afraid better than being a psychiatrist.
Why?
Oh, I don't know. You seem like a girl that'd put 100% into anything she went into.
So anyway, you've got some like flirting going on. You also have a guy watching them through the window. And it turns into like an and then there were none kind of thing, where this guy who's missing a bunch of limbs has invited all these doctors to his house who had failed to take care of him earlier. And then they all just start getting offed one by one. And it's like a big house and it's late at night and it's like foggy outside, and so it seems to just be something that these movies want to do. They're just like, hey, let's let's have a whole bunch of people show up at a mansion and have them all separate, and then someone get offed, and then everyone runs to check on it, and then they're like, okay, let's all go back to bed, and then they like all separate again, and then like there's another scream, and then everyone runs back, and they're like, why does everyone keep dying? It's like, if you guys all just like stayed in one room, like probably be okay. So Bela Lugosi, in his tiny little part, yeah, he's going around and knocking on all the doors of all these doctors and telling them that they need to come down and talk to the police because someone has been murdered. So they all need to get talked to see if their foot matches a giant bare footprint that was in the mud. But here's another weird thing that just distracts me from what's actually happening in this movie. Listen to this.
You are wanted in the library, Dr. Phipps. A police matter.
Police matter?
Yes, I'm instructed to get you.
All right. Just as soon as I get a robe.
What are you talking about as soon as you get a robe? He's like fully dressed. He's got like pants, shirt's tucked in. It's like if he's wearing shoes or slippers, it's like, what do you need a robe. I mean, I get that they're classy and they want to have their evening smoke wear, but my goodness, it's like he's completely dressed. He's like, oh, I gotta cover up. Just kind of took me out of the movie because I thought it was so ridiculous right there. All right, so there's just been another murder and everyone's gone and run and looked at it. Everyone's got to go look at it and then immediately start disturbing the scene. It's like their plan in this show. They look at it and then start disturbing the scene because, that's a good way to deal with an investigation. But this is actually the most tragic part in the entire movie, and they just kind of breeze by it, but it's the part that I thought was the most horrible. I mean, obviously the murders are bad, but this part was just sad to me. So this guy who's basically been leering after people and following people and just showing signs of assault, or he's holding his thing on his face and there's like 4 scratch marks on his face so that it's clear that some woman has scratched him. So the lady fainted after seeing the body, and so he carries her away, and then he comes back with a scratch on his face. And then look at what happened. So this guy is the sheriff, and listen to how he just dismisses this lady when she shows up and makes.
I demand that you arrest this creature.
No, he couldn't have killed Dr. King.
I didn't say he killed anybody, but I do say.
All I want to know is who killed Dr. King. Now down the library.
Look at that smirk. That's awful. So obviously these movies, well, I mean, innocent people always get it in these movies, but they also build a case, like a stacking case for why they're going to off certain people with bad characteristics, like the film critic in the last one. So it's like they make an in-movie justification for these people to die. But this part is just so sad because this lady's like, this guy should be arrested and here's why. And then this guy's like, I don't care about that. We're dealing with a murder. And it's just like, are you like even going to take 10 seconds and see why? Like, he has a scratch on his face and she's like, this thing happened. And he's just like, don't care, dealing with a murder. And I get that he has to kind of compartmentalize and he doesn't have like the bandwidth to handle everything. But dang, he just totally dismissed her, like basically cry for help and call for a crime happening. It's actually pretty awful and disgusting and sad. This part made me very sad. So this guy's an author, and they have a witness that says that they saw this guy out walking. What's that crackly sound? Anyway, so they have a witness that says that they saw him out walking, and they have to check on every lead, and this guy like writes murder mysteries. And they're like, well, who do you think did it? And he's like, I don't know. I don't do this in real life. He's like, but often it's the person that's least expected. And this guy's like, well, then that'd be me. And he's like missing 3 of his limbs. And then they show it and then they feel all dumb. But it's just like, spoiler alert, it totally is that guy. And so they do like another kind of meta thing where you have the mystery writer is like, it's the person you least expect. And it totally is that person in the movie. He's using like his superior mind powers to generate monstrous hands and feet. And then I guess because he doesn't know how to use the mind powers very well, that's what leaves the blood all over the place. Kind of weird. So another kind of sad part of this movie is this girl who's like the little sister of the guy that's missing all his limbs. Like everyone in the movie just like stifles her and shuts her up and goes and sends her to bed and tells her she's crazy, and they just won't let her do anything. And this is like the psychiatrist, and so they're kind of like buds. And this lady's trying to stop this lady from leaving, and she's like, "You're gonna let her leave." And they like get into this fight, and then the horror movie
Going
thing
to take
happens.
a walk around the grounds with me.
You're going to your room.
See,
And you're going to
tries
be
send her
locked
to
in
bed.
here.
You're mistaken, Miss Trent. Dr. Harper's going back to the city. Get out, Doctor! Hurry! Get out!
We can't leave without her.
She won't leave her brother. She told me so.
Get out, Doctor! Lock the
And
door!
then look what happens. And as per monster
This
movie,
place has been the breeding spot of
You gotta-
hatred. Insane.
you gotta wipe the slate
Revenge,
clean.
Murder. It's got to be blotted out and everyone in it.
There's a fight. Look at the lighting on the wall. It's awesome. Anyway, it's pretty awful. It's like a murder, suicide, house destruction, arson. But yeah, the horror movie things happens where they decide that it's just they gotta just burn it all down. It's like there's no reason for this to happen. Like sometimes the places are rigged with explosives, or sometimes there's like an experiment gone wrong. But it's like no, she's just gonna burn it down and hold both of them in there. It's pretty dark, but it's fun that the story always is like wiped clean. Like the evidence gets burned or the bad people get burned, and they just end it all and wipe it all, and then the young couple runs off in each other's arms. So you think it's over because the house burned, and that's usually when it's over. But look at these monstrous feet. That's the guy that doesn't normally have legs.
There's a footbridge down there that leads to a farmhouse.
So anyway, he comes out to do his monster thing, which you normally don't expect after the place has been burned down. So this is a little bit of a twist. Check it out.
He materialized them just as I
So as he's
materialized the skeleton in the library.
Strangling
nonsense.
people. He
Nobody in their
he
right
gets
senses
shot.
would believe that hocus
But look at his
pocus.
legs.
Are you quite sure?
And then look what happens. So cool.
I see it,
That's a cool effect.
but I still don't believe it.
There it goes.
Inevitable. A little knowledge of the occult.
Listen to this. This is important.
Unless it's used for good, disaster will follow its way. That is cosmic law.
And the movie ends. So if you have a little bit of knowledge of the occult, then you could use it for good, but disaster will always follow in its wake. That's the cosmic law. Anyway, this is it was okay. It was a fun like twist with the regenerating limbs thing and the mystery, and there was a lot of good fun kills, but ultimately you do have a group of people in a building that keep isolating themselves, and they're like, well, let's just, hope this doesn't happen again. Like there must be like a morgue on this property that's just getting like full of bodies. And then it's just fun to watch people running all over the house being like, someone else got murdered. When's the next one going to be? I don't know. I'm going to go off by myself. And literally someone that says that's like, it's okay. I'm going to go off by myself. Like they totally get offed like a minute later. Anyway, this has been, what has this been? This has been day 21 of 31 in my 31 days of horror. So I hope you enjoy it. Let me know if you've seen this movie. I'd love to talk about it, but stay tuned for more if you like this kind of thing. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.